So here you see the leg press, and the leg press is basically a squat movement pattern. So just imagine you're doing a squat, except that now your lower back or your body is resting on a seat. And so only your hips is moving. So just like a squat movement, except you don't have to stabilize yourself. Now here you can see that I put a yoga mat at the bottom, and the whole point of the yoga mat is to increase my range of motion safely for my lower back. It artificially elevates the seat, which allows me to go into a deeper range of motion for my hips, as you can see all the way here. Okay, now the yoga mat tends to be better if I want to bias or if I want to target my quadricep muscle or my knee extensor muscle. Okay, but in general, I would always recommend putting a yoga mat at the bottom of a leg press to allow for increased range of motion safely. Now, it's also fine if your butt lifts off the leg press a little bit. Meaning, if your butt comes off the seat and your lower back rounds a little bit, that is fine. Okay? Most importantly is that you are controlling the movement and you're not doing like a rushed set. Alright? So the yoga mat can or may not be placed on the leg press to your preference, although I would say it is better to put a yoga mat at the bottom to increase the range of motion. And over here you see from a different viewpoint, here I place my feet lower on the leg press, and this will target my quadricep muscle more. The lower your feet is placed on the leg press, it targets a different group of muscles. The higher your feet position is, the more it's going to target your glute or your butt. The lower your feet position is on the leg press, the more it's going to target your quadriceps or your knee extensor muscles. Now you see me doing the leg press from another angle. Okay, in a moment's time, you'll see me shift my feet downwards. And when I shift my feet downwards, it means that I have placed my feet lower on a leg press. When your feet is lower on the leg press, it means you will target your quadricep muscles or the knee extensor muscles or the muscles at the front of your thigh more. The higher your feet is placed on the leg press, the more it's going to be targeting your glutes, also known as your butt, also known as the back of your hip muscles. Okay? But at all times when you're doing, whether it is going to be a quadricep bias or whether it is going to be a glute bias kind of exercise, ensure that your knees are always pushing outwards and not caving in. Okay? So you do not want your knees to cave back in. You want your knees to be pushed out. Always think of knees out and lower down, slowly controlling the movement. Okay? So feet position is very important. Lower down your feet, lower down the leg press plate, the more it's going to be your quadriceps. The higher up your feet position on the leg press plate, the more it's going to be your glutes or the back of your thigh. Okay, and always ensure your knees are pushed out and not caving in. And as you can see here, I just lowered my feet on the leg press plate, which means I want to target my quadricep muscle more. And always recommended to put a yoga mat at the bottom of the leg press plate. Put a yoga mat at the bottom of your seat so that you can increase your range of motion at the bottom safely. And it is fine if your lower back rounds and lift off the seat a little bit. Okay, it is fine. Your back is okay to round at the bottom as long as you have gradually built up the tolerance for it. More importantly, it is to control the movement at all times. So just to reiterate, put a yoga mat at the bottom of your leg press. If at the bottom of the seat of the leg press, if you are keen on increasing the range of motion, you may or may not have to, but I always recommend putting the yoga mat at the bottom or something soft, something to elevate the seat artificially to increase your range of motion at the bottom, which will help with muscle growth and strength in terms of training. Now, feet position is very important. Over here, I have a lowered feet position on leg press plate, which means I want to target my quadricep muscle group. But the higher your feet position is on the leg press plate, the more it will bias or target your glutes or butt. Okay, so to wrap it up, it is fine to allow your butt to round or your lower back to round at the bottom position as long as you're controlling the movement and gradually exposing your lower back rounding and lifting off the seat at heavier weights, but always control the movement. You may or may not use a yoga mat for your seat and a leg press, but it is highly recommended so that you can increase your range of motion at the bottom artificially to allow for improvement in strength and muscle growth, and feet position is important.